Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're well. I'm in day 3 now of Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, and I wanted to share something, right? And I was thinking, look, should I get 5 things from my which I've learned so far on it's only been 2 days, and I've 5 things, and there's so many 10, 20, 30 things, right? Incredible things I've learned. I thought, what could I share which would be the most valuable? And then I realized, you know what? There's actually one key to this, and it's actually one of the first things Tony said, and he actually repeats it on many of his events. And this secret, right, it's called 3 steps to mastery. And it's not really just mastery, it's 3 steps to implementation of anything, right? And this is a secret to why, even if I was to share, or if someone was to share, if you were to get hold of all the notes to an event, right? Have you ever done that where you've got the notes to, let's say there's a really big event, an influencer or an expert, you really want to go, you can go, and then someone share. And I've done this many times. I've been to a talk, or I've been to shared these notes, right? Have you ever noticed when that happens, you don't really, sometimes, often you don't benefit that much, you don't learn that much, you don't change, right? Why is it that you can sometimes read a book or watch a YouTube video and you get this inspiration, right? You get a bit of motivation, but change doesn't happen. And the reason is, and this gives another great analogy Tony Robbins talks about. It says inspiration and motivation is a bit like a bath, right? Or a shower. It's something which is nice, but you need that every day anyway. It's just something you do every day. It doesn't transform you, right? And so what are the 3 steps to mastery? The first one, right? And this is where everyone stops. Cognitive understanding, right? The mental. You have to have the right information, right? So these we often get such aha moments where, oh wow, that is so good, that is so right, that's so profound, right? So that makes a lot of difference. That's important. But most videos we watch, most books, notes you read, it stops there. The second one is why going to events, getting a coach, going on courses, right? Meeting people in person. This is a key to why those things, and this is why live events are so much better than recorded, right? It's the second step. What's the second step? You don't hear this often, and I really learned this properly from Tony himself. Emotional mastery. What? What do you mean emotional mastery? This means when you feel it, right? When you learn something and you're in person, or when you're in a context, when there's an energy around it, you remember it. One of the greatest examples, the example Tony gives all the time is, where were you September 11th? If you're old enough to remember September 11th, 9/11, right? I am. If you're in your 30s, 40s, you probably remember. Most people remember exactly where they were when that happened, right? Why? Because the event itself, the media and everything, it became like imprinted in all our minds, right? There's a huge emotion associated with that cognitive event. What we remember historically, this happened, the planes went through it, but it's etched in our memories because of emotion. So that really helps you remember things, right? So you have to attach emotion to it, right? And then the third step is physical mastery, right? And this is when you have repetition. And this is where repetition comes in, right? It's the same thing when I teach about habits. Most people think about repetition. Well, before the repetition, that's the emotion, right? You have to have emotion to whatever habit you're building. And so this is when, so once you've got these first 2 things, you have cognitive understanding, right? So for example, anything I learn in a Tony Robbins event, right? Yep, I might not have emotional, I might not get the emotion in all the things I talk, right? Maybe, for example, I'm watching the event with friends, right? We're doing it virtually, and for example, sometimes, right, there's people with me and they're on their phones during the talk, so they're not going to get that emotion for that point, are they? Right? Sometimes I've missed it, right? And I'm catching up on my notes. Again, I'm not getting the emotion, right? So that's why it's so important to attend live. That's why they always say, make sure you're fully engaging in the breakout rooms, etc. Right? And for example, like when they're doing the kind of exercises and you're jumping and you're kind of like, celebrating. If you don't do that, if you're not doing it properly, you're not going to get the emotion. You're just going to think it's a joke, right? So only once you have those 2 layers, but then after the event, it can just fade away, can't it? And that's why you need repetition. So once you keep repeating it, do it consistently, it then gets embedded in you until it becomes an identity. And that's when true change and transformation has occurred, right? So I hope this was useful. I thought just sharing this one bit, because I think that's the key to unlocking most knowledge, right? So please comment what you liked about this, what you understood from this. And I hope it was of value. Jazakallah khairan. And I will do another video sharing more of the specific business stuff I learned, which has been amazing. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.